A Reminiscence of Cricket by Arthur Conan Doyle, 1859 to 1930. Once in my heyday of cricket, one day I shall ever recall, I captured that glorious wicket, the greatest, the grandest of all. Before me he stands like a vision, bearded and burly and brown, a smile of good-humoured derision, as he waits for the first to come down. A statue from Thebes or from Knossos, a Hercules shrouded in white, Assyrian bull-like colossus, he stands in all his might. With the beard of a Goth or a Vandal, his bat hanging ready and free, his great hairy hands on the handle, his menacing eyes upon me. And I had tricks for the rabbits, the feeble of mind or eye. I could see all the duffer's bad habits, and where his ruin might lie. The capture of such might elate one, but it seemed like one horrible jest, that I should serve tosh to the great one, who had broken the hearts of the best. Well, here goes. Good Lord, what a rotter! Such a sitter as never was dreamt. It was clay in the hands of the potter, but he tapped it with quiet contempt. The second was better, a little. It was low, but was nearly long hop. As the housemaid comes down on the beetle, so down came the bat with a chop. He was sizing me up with some wonder, my broken need action and ways. I could see the grim menace from under the striped peak that shaded his gaze. The third was a gift, or it looked it, a foot off the wicket or so. His huge figure swooped as he hooked it, a great body swung to the blow. Still, when my dreams are nightmarish, I picture that terrible smite. It was meant for a neighbouring parish, or any place out of sight. But yes, there's a but to my story. The blade swished a trifle too low. Oh wonder and vision of glory, it was up like a shaft from a bow. Up, up like a towering game bird, up to a speck in the blue, and then coming down like the same bird, dead straight on the line that it flew. Good Lord, it was mine! Such a soarer would call for a safe pair of hands, none safer than Derbyshire storer, and there, face uplifted, he stands. Wicket keeps storer, the knowing, wary and steady of nerve, watched it falling and growing, marking the pace and the curve. I stood with my two eyes fixed on it, paralysed, helpless, inert. There was plunk as the gloves shut upon it, and he cuddled it up to his shirt. Out, beyond question or wrangle, homeward he lurched to his lunch. His bat was tucked up at an angle, his great shoulders curved to a hunch. Walking he rumbled and grumbled, scolding himself and not me. One glove was off and he fumbled, twisting the other hand free. Did I give Storer the credit, the thanks he so splendidly earned? It was mere empty talk if I said it, for grace had already returned. Okay, this is a poem by Arthur Conan Doyle. Conan Doyle, I think he was born in Scotland, and his parents were of Irish Catholic origin. Now, I'm sure you know Conan Doyle as the inventor of Sherlock Holmes. But Conan Doyle, he did many things, but among them he used to play cricket. And on several occasions, I think on 10 occasions, he played cricket for the MCC, the Marylebone Cricket Club. And he played first-class cricket matches. Now, he was a part-time bowler, and he only ever took one wicket in first-class cricket. But that was the wicket of W.G. Grace. Now, W.G. Grace is the most famous cricketer of all time. He's got a fantastic reputation for the amazing scores he made, and what a fantastic cricketer he was. And he's W.G. Grace is probably the first and number one cricketing great of all time. And this is actually a true story that Conan Doyle took the wicket of W.G. Grace, and that's really what this poem is about. So, and this really tells the story. So once in my heyday of cricket, when I was really good at cricket, there was one day that I shall always remember. I captured the glorious wicket, the greatest, the grandest of all. So I took the greatest wicket of the greatest cricketer ever to have lived. Before me he stands like a vision, bearded and burly and brown. So W.G. Grace is famous for his great big beard, and he's a big chap, and he's had quite dark skin. A smile of good-humoured derision as he waits for the first to come down. So he's deriding me, this ridiculous bowler, as he's waiting for the first ball to be bowled. A statue from Thebes or from Knossos. So he looked like a statue from the ancient civilizations, maybe from the Minoan civilization. Or a Hercules, shrouded in white. Well, you wear white to play cricket, so he looks like Hercules dressed in white. Assyrian bull-like colossus. He stands in all his might. So he could be the Colossus of Rhodes. So these are all classical things. So he looks like a classical statue, with the beard of a Goth or a Vandal. So as I said, he's got this great big beard. His bat hanging ready and free. His great hairy hands on the handle. His menacing eyes upon me. So here Conan Doyle's starting to build up a little bit of tension. He's got his hands on the handle, and he's looking at me. And I had tricks for the rabbits. The feeble of mind or eye. So as a bowler, I wasn't a very good bowler. I was a good bowler for bad players, for rabbits, for people who were not very good. As a bowler, I had tricks to get out people who were weak-minded or couldn't see well. I could see all the duffer's bad habits and where his ruin might lie. A duffer is a bad player. So I was a good bowler for bad players. I could see the bad habits of any bad player, and where and how to get a bad player out. But this was W.G. Grace. The capture of such might elate one. So the taking of the wicket of a bad player might make you feel good. But it seemed like one horrible jest. It seemed like a horrible joke that I should serve tosh to the great one who had broken the hearts of the best. So that I should serve tosh. I should serve rubbish. I should bowl my bad bowling, my rubbish bowling, to W.G. Grace, who had beaten or had broken the hearts of the best bowlers in the world, the best bowlers of his time. So he had broken the hearts of the best bowlers of his time, and it seemed like a horrible joke that I was going to bowl to him. I was going to bowl my rubbish bowling to him. Well, here goes. Come on, time to do it. Good Lord, what a rotter. So the first ball was a terrible ball. Such a sitter as never was dreamt. Okay, a sitter is an easy question or an easy ball. So this was a sitter. It was sitting there waiting to be hit. It was clay in the hands of the potter, but he tapped it with quiet contempt. So here he's got a metaphor. He's saying that the potter is W.G. Grace, and W.G. Grace could have done anything with it. He's the potter, and he could make any shape he wanted out of this ball that Conan Doyle has bowled, because it's just such a bad ball. But he just tapped it with quiet contempt. The second was better, a little. It was just a little better. I like this spelling of a little. It was low, but was nearly long hop. So it was low, but it was nearly a long hop. A long hop is a slow ball that bounces short of the batsman and is relatively easy to hit. As the housemaid comes down on the beetle, so down came his bat with a chop. And here we have a metaphor. So he's now got the metaphor of a housemaid who's found a beetle in the house, yeah, and I think she's going to stamp on it. Well, his bat came down in the same way. He just chopped it down. He didn't do anything with this, the second ball, with this long hop. He was sizing me up with some wonder, my broken-kneed action and way. So he was sizing me up. He was looking at me. He was thinking about my bowling style. He was thinking about wondering about the way I played cricket, about my bowling action, with my broken-kneed action. So with my bad bowling action, my bad ways, my bad bowling. He was working out my abilities as a bowler. I could see the grim menace from under, the striped peak that shaded his gaze. So I could see how dangerous he was. I could see the grim menace, how dangerous he was from under the cap, the striped cap. Normally I think it's red and white or blue and white or something like a striped cap that he's wearing. The third was a gift. The third ball was a gift. It was easy. It was another sitter. Or it looked it. A foot off the wicket or so. So it was about a foot, 30 centimetres away from the wicket. His huge figure swooped. A bird swoops down, moves suddenly towards its prey, and as he hooked it, so he hit it round. His great body swung to the blow, so he used all of his body power to hit it. So, Grace hits the ball. Still when my dreams are nightmarish, I picture that terrible smite. So when I'm sometimes still today in nightmares, I picture Grace hitting this ball incredibly hard. It was meant for a neighbouring parish, so it was meant for somewhere near a neighbouring area or any place out of sight. So this ball was going to be he was meaning to hit it miles away. But yes, there's a but to the story. And there's a but. And he says, yes, there is a but. The ball didn't actually go to the neighbouring parish. It didn't go out of sight. The blade swished, swish, a little bit too low. Oh, wonder and vision of glory. I can't believe it. Yeah, it was up like a shaft from a bow. So the ball, instead of being hit into the neighbouring parish, went up into the air like an arrow being shot from a bow. So the ball went up into the air. It went miles up in the air, up like a towering game bird. So a game bird are birds that are for shooting, and very often you have beaters, people who try to move the birds towards the people shooting, and then the birds, when they're disturbed, they fly straight upwards, up to a speck in the blue. So the ball went miles up, and it was just this tiny dot in this blue sky, and then coming down like the same bird. And okay, I think the bird, it goes up, and then the people who are shooting shoot the bird, and down it comes again, dead straight on the line that it flew. So the ball goes up and down like a game bird. Good Lord, it was mine. Such a soarer would call for a safe pair of hands. So, good Lord, that was my ball. I can't believe it. It was my ball. Such a soarer. This ball soared into the sky. It would need a safe pair of hands to catch it. None safer than Derbyshire Storer. And there, face uplifted, he stands. Okay, Storer was a famous wicket keeper who played for Derbyshire at that time. I think at this time they're actually playing for the MCC, so Storer is playing for the MCC in this match. And there is the best catcher, the best wicket keeper in the land. Wicket keeper Storer, the knowing, wary and steady of nerve, watching it falling and growing, marking the pace and the curve. So there's the wicket-keeper Storer, and he's ready. He's got a reputation for being calm under pressure, and he's watching the ball fall and fall and fall and get bigger and bigger, and he's got his eye on how fast it's coming and the curve of the ball. I stood with my two eyes fixed on it, paralysed, helpless, inert. So I stood there staring. I couldn't move. There was a plunk, as the gloves shut upon it. The wicket-keeper's gloves caught it, and he cuddled it up. He held it closely to his shirt. Out beyond question or wrangle. It was out. There wasn't any question about it. W.G. Grace was out, and I'd taken his wicket. Homeward he lurched to his lunch. So Grace is now walking backwards. He's lurching back to the pavilion. And soon it will be lunchtime. His bat was tucked up at an angle. I guess his bat is under his arm. His shoulder curved to a hunch. So he's a bit upset, I think. Walking, he rumbled and grumbled, scolding himself and not me. So he was angry with himself, not with me. So it wasn't my good work, it was his mistake. One glove was off, and he fumbled, twisting the other hand free. So he took off his batting gloves. Did I give Storer the credit, the thanks he so splendidly earned? So did I give thanks to Storer? I don't really remember. It was mere empty talk if I said it, for Grace had already returned. So, did I thank Storer? I honestly don't remember if I thanked him or not for catching it. But W.G. Grace had already got back to the pavilion. And this is the story of how Arthur Conan Doyle takes the wicket of W.G. Grace, the most famous cricketer, or British cricketer of all time. So, a reminiscence of cricket by Arthur Conan Doyle.